Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having me to speak. First of all, apologies for the photo and the reality. That is social media. I'm Kat. I'll move on now. And I am a teacher. I'm currently seconded out to Solent NHS, and I'm working with them on creating a careers programme to ensure our skill set that we need in the NHS, that we have a set of individuals, young people coming through to support our workforce. So as a teacher in the area, I'm going to talk to you about the incredible young people that we have here in the Solent, and to kind of encourage you to do projects very similar to the one that I'm currently working on with the NHS to fill up your workforce, because they are incredible young people we have. So, got to go this way. Obviously, the plans for this Solent project are ambitious, just like our young people here. I teach at a secondary school, an inner city secondary school in Portsmouth, and I work with some incredible young people, driven, ambitious, everything that this project is and embodies. There are plenty of those young people here in the south, and I really urge you to think about how you are going to fill the positions that you know as industry specialists that you know you're going to need, because we do have those people ready in the wings for you. As I said, I work in Portsmouth, and so before I came to speak to you today, I asked them to tell me what they were proud of, what they thought was ambitious, what they thought was a fantastic part of living in Portsmouth as a city. But I think this echoes across the Solent region. So they are very proud that we have the Royal Navy in Portsmouth. They are very proud, as you can see there, of the innovation and the forward thinking that created the Queen Elizabeth ship there. They were lucky enough to go have a trip onto it, so obviously that inspires them. Is that something that you would want to do for the young people? Would you bring them into your workplace, into what you create here in the Solent, and show them what they could do, what they could be? Maybe not when they first join you, but where they could aspire to be. Could they be the engineers of the future, creating things like the Spinnaker Tower that you see there? They are inspired by those things around them. Portsmouth University and its plastic-eating enzyme, they are very, very switched on to the environment. They are the generation that want this world clean, zero emissions. They stood there in Portsmouth protesting. They want that. They want to work with you. They are so focused on maintaining this world. They also love the festival that we have in Portsmouth, Victorious, and that was set up by some young men from Portsmouth, and it's now become a massive, massive festival, attracting a lot of income for the city and big name acts. They're proud of that, and they're proud of the fact that that was done by people from Portsmouth. The football club, which I won't mention too much in case I get lynched now being in Southampton. It's fine, I was born here, so I can't talk about that in Portsmouth. So they are very proud of that football club, and actually every element of that football club, and they are really aware of the fact that it is far more than just footballers. They have media teams, they have nutritionists, they have physios. They're very aware of what else the football club means, and I think that's what you need to bring to the young people. They'll see a port and see boats and go, meh. And that's where you have to enthuse them. You have to let them in. You have to come and show them what they could do with you. And obviously, they're very, very proud of the Dockyard and the Mary Rose and the Warrior and the Victory and the history that we have here in the Solent. They are very proud. They are really enthusiastic, and they are your workforce of the future. My son is 6, so by the time all of this comes through, he could be standing here talking about what has been achieved, and that's quite a little wobbly mum moment for me. So, looking at the data, I'm a maths teacher, I'm really sorry I had to do it. It looks like we actually do okay here in the Solent region, and actually that we are pretty much bang on average with the wage across the country. But if you are in a city school, you will see the difference and some of the deprived areas that we work with. This wage is way off. The school I work at, 1 in 3 students is actually a free school meals student. There is lots and lots of deprivation in our area, but that doesn't mean that they are not the absolute foundation of what this port could be and be fantastic workers for you. So just to prove that, and a real stark thing that I really want you to hold on to, is the fact the school I work in is in Fratton. And if you turn left out of our school, there's a real chance you will live 20 years less than the person who comes out of my school and turns right. And I think that's something to really hold on to. Our school, we work so hard to level it up. And I believe Dee said earlier about students not even being able to access sailing. Some of our students couldn't afford to get on the Isle of Wight ferry. But our school works that every single Year 7 student who comes through goes sailing. They go sailing in their tutor group. We are desperately trying to level it up. So when people say levelling up, I invite you to come and see some of our schools that are split so widely like that, and to come and see the incredible work that my colleagues are doing every day to try and get rid of those barriers, to try and really level it up, and for students to see, it doesn't matter where you came from, you're here, you're in education, you are working hard, you've got a good soul, and the rest we will support you to do. So I really want you to hold on to that. Obviously, these are all the pillars today of what the Solent Port hopes to offer, and I really do hope that the young people who I'm working with now, little tiny ones like my son, you are thinking about all of those. They are your workforce, and I really urge you to get out into schools, to work with the LEP, to create these links and show these students what they could do. There's been a lot of talk today about these high-end wages. I suggest that you work with the colleges and maybe work with the DFE, the Department for Education, and think about creating T-levels in a marine environment. So you really are filtering those students from 16 and moulding them into the employees that you need to make this successful. They are what is going to make this successful. You guys are fantastic pioneers and pushing forward to do something really innovative, but it is those young people who are going to make sure this continues and fill all of those employment areas for you. I really hope that it is levelled up. I really hope that you aim it at young people in this city. As I've said to you, that stark data, you could make such a difference. And working in an inner city school, I'd rather that we weren't trying to pluck people who are a minority success story. Actually, that's what happens, and it's because of this. It's because of this now people can work their way up and create themselves a fantastic life where they don't have to worry so much about money. Part of my job at my school is the careers lead. So for me to support students, what are you interested in, what would you like to do, and for me to understand all the educational options and pathways to get them to a place where they will be secure financially. So I really, really urge you to think about the social mobility. Are you going to invest in apprentices? Are you going to take on 16-year-olds and genuinely think, yeah, they could be the CEO, they could be the top, they could be the executive, whatever, and really invest in them? They are decent, wonderful, fantastic young people, so many of them, and you could be doing just the world of good for them. The education, the state of education in the region is rapidly improving. Ofsted are back and around, thank you very much, however close we are to COVID. But you know what, despite that and despite the loss of learning, the students in our area, lots of them now, the majority are attending good or outstanding schools. And again, if you just think back to that stark contrast, that's an incredible job, and I am so proud to say I'm a teacher, and yes, I've stepped out slightly, but my colleagues are incredible to be starting to balance that up and to get these schools to a good and outstanding, and I promise you, that's not easy. That is not easy. They are very fine-tooth comb, I think we'll say. So it's not the education, like the infrastructure is there for you to get involved with schools, so please reach out to them. I will just put this up. Like I say, as a careers leader, I need to think about the journey and where they've come from. So for you thinking about secondary schools, I believe is a fantastic space to show them what you can offer. But if you could, even younger is better. At 6 to 8, they've already decided which jobs are gender stereotyped. So again, I work for the NHS, and the point of me being here is that I can say to you, as the biggest employer in the UK, the NHS is now investing in an outreach programme to schools, and we are at the forefront of that in my project, and we're working with students aged 5 and upwards to try and break these stereotypes. Doctor's a man, nurse is a lady. We're already there at 6, they've already decided. So how many options are being shut down as they go through their lives? Moving up to 9, this, again, I think is quite soul-destroying. They have decided, they've already gauged their social position and decided which jobs are no longer available to them. That actually breaks my heart. I hate it. So part of my project, and the reason why I'm here, is to say to you it can be done. With the NHS, there are 350 plus different jobs. And my job with my team, who I lead, is to get out into schools and say, this is what you can do. And if you don't want to leave home because you can't afford uni and you want to be at home contributing to your family, we've got degree apprenticeships. You can have an apprenticeship at 16. You can come and work with us from 16. And getting out, we're missing out. Students have already pigeonholed what your industry is. It's boats. Don't want to be a sailor. And I know that sounds really silly, and I promise you I'm not mocking you. That's what their idea is. And you must get out there. You have to talk to them. Think of what you can do in terms of social mobility for the thousands, hundreds of thousands of young people in this area. So just a little bit about what I've done. Like I say, I've been seconded out from my school to work for the NHS across Hampshire and the Isle of Wight to create, from scratch, a careers programme that reaches out to students as young as 5 all the way up to 18. And we're just starting to work with the universities now from September to say to them, do you know we've got cybercrimes? Do you know we've got engineers? Do you know? And just open their eyes to all the opportunities. Even students at degree level, we have master's apprenticeships. Could that be something that you guys offer as well? It's just amazing. And for the links that we've made, and with the Solent LEP as well, it's been amazing to work with them and link up with other employers. So I urge you, in these bids, think about how are you going to get the young people to understand your industry, understand everything you can offer, understand the pathway that this job, being involved in this incredible project, what it could mean to them and their families. So back to this, please, in thinking about this project, and thank you for being involved and for contributing to the Solent region. I was born in Southampton. I lived most of my life on the Isle of Wight. I've taught in a school on the Isle of Wight. I've now teach in Portsmouth. I know these kids, and they are incredible. And some of them don't appear incredible because of what their upbringing has been, perhaps, especially in some of those tougher areas. But give them those apprenticeships, give them those chances to look around your building, and you will see the lights come on. So give them a chance. And they use this little mantra a lot. So be the change you want to see in the world. It's going to come from you, and then they will do the rest. Please have a good think, and I'm so grateful for you listening to me today. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. Yeah, go for it.
Thanks so much. That was really interesting. Actually, I'm from the Centre for Enzyme Innovation, so plastic degrading enzymes. Hearing about how inspired the students are is amazing, because sometimes I worry that no one in Portsmouth know what we're actually there. But I guess my question further from what you're saying is, I spend a lot of time thinking in my work in innovation and with businesses, but also in outreach, as to how do we actually pull those students through? What can we do as a university to actually get local students to study at Portsmouth, because we're not seeing that in our figures? And that's, I guess my question is really kind of what can we work in the local area, because we have an outreach programme, but we are limited in how many schools we actually reach out to.
Obviously, it's all to do with funding, so I completely understand you've got your target schools. I would work with the LEP They have the connections. Every single secondary school has to have a careers lead. That's a government directive. They have to have those. So the LEP will know all of those direct links. I think with schools, when you get one, you get the rest, because there's very much they're doing what? Can we? So there is a little bit of that in the area, and competition. They are businesses too. At the end of the day, schools need bums on seats. So yeah, I would go through the LEP. They've been fantastically supportive of me as a teacher in my school. Just on site and getting your employees or you as an employer in is incredible. That's where it happens. Not here's a task, here's this. Be live, be with them. Don't make videos, they're done, they're over it. I'm sure you can understand that. Online is not for them anymore. Get in there with them, or get them to where you work and show them. That's, I think, the best thing to do. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
No problem. Any other questions?
Thank you. That was really passionate presentation. So thanks for that, and also thanks for raising the need that careers guidance needs to start at 5 rather than 15. I'm from a local authority in Eastleigh, and we've got involved in a primary engineer program, having engineers from our borough going into schools and helping them. Brilliant. So sadly, it was kind of curtailed by the pandemic. I guess my question to you, though, is have you engaged with parents? Because we found in terms of trying to engage with young people in our schools that quite often they might either don't get any help or advice from parents, or what advice they get is probably outdated and just reinforces the points you make, i.e. my dad's a lorry driver, I'll be a lorry driver, whatever. Yep.
Yeah. We kind of go 5 points of communication. So text will go home to parents, this is what your child is doing. Letters go home with the parent, with the student. Website links, QR, as much as you can. Obviously, social media, as interesting as that can be. It's that. We also are starting to do takeover events at schools, so that after school, students and parents can together walk around, kind of like a mini careers fair, but very interactive, very hands-on. Because again, parents are bringing siblings as well, so they don't want a stall collecting pens. Make it interactive. You're recruiting. It's recruitment. So yeah, get to the school, set it up there. Might be inconvenient, but that's where you're going to get access to the parents.
Just building on what you said there. So I used to work with the children, and I now work with the parents, the grown-up versions of your children. And so they don't engage in some of those things. And I think joining that up, so we run the Restart programme. Yep. If you could change the mind of the child and change the mind of the child, the parent, at the same time, you've got a better opportunity for success. So I suppose my question is really, is there opportunity to do more partnership working around with people who are working with the adults within the family?
I mean, absolutely. I can imagine there is. We're in the... Sorry, excuse me. Absolutely. I mean, I can only talk about what I've done and what I've seen work, going to the schools and inviting the parents. I think that's kind of where we're at. It seems to work really well. It creates that conversation, and conversation's the key, really. So, yeah, on site, at schools, put yourself out there, really. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to my waffling on about our wonderful children. Like I say, if there's any other questions, come and grab me at the end. Thank you so much.